Now, from Hollywood, romance.
Remember the equilateral triangle? If all sides are equal, all angles are equal too. That's geometry. Now take the triangle with 3 equal sides, and you may be sure each side has an angle. That's not geometry, that's an eternal triangle.
So now we bring you transcribed Kathleen Height's charming story, Such a Wonderful Team.
There wasn't any doubt that the evening had been a success. Milt Cronin was signed, sealed, and delivered before he finished his second cocktail. And it was largely Karen's doing. Paul would be the first to admit it. Even after 5 years of close association, she was still full of surprises, even to him.
Well, I hate to leave. Believe me, I rarely say that after I parted with a couple of $100,000.
No hurry, Milt. I can't believe you're anxious to get back to your hotel.
I'm not.
Well, why don't you drive out the country with me? It's a lot more comfortable out there.
No, thanks. I've got a breakfast date at 8 and then the plane to catch at 10. Any chance of renting space on your terrace for the night, Karen? That's the coolest spot I've found all week.
Here's your key.
What?
It's even cooler than mine. 3 floors up.
No, wait a minute. What kind of miracle woman have you got here, Paul?
Oh, it's just part of the Kerr Company's service to important clients. Only this time, the company president has no idea what his executive assistant is up to.
Well, give me some credit. I know better than to advertise something I can't deliver. It's Mike Canna's apartment, Paul. He's in Europe, and I'm the keeper of the key.
Oh, then by all means, Milt, be Mike's guest, and ours.
Are you sure it's all right?
If Karen says it is, it is.
I don't know. It's a little amazing to me. Oh, but all my luggage is at the hotel. And
all your luggage was at the hotel. The 4th time you admired my apartment this evening, I got the message.
You mean I moved in?
Your bed is turned down.
Oh, no.
Come along, I'll show you.
Does anyone ever beat this gal to the punch, Paul?
If they ever do, I'll fire her.
You coming, Paul?
I think I'll wait here if you don't mind. Well, good night, Milt, and thanks for the business. You won't be sorry.
I'm sure of that already. Oh, well, give my best to Peg, will you?
I will. She'll miss seeing you.
Now, next time for sure. Oh, Paul, you got a great gal in this, Karen. You make a wonderful team.
I know.
It had been a long day, longer because of the muggy heat that steamed up from the streets of Manhattan. Standing now on Karen's terrace, looking down at those same streets, Paul Kerr began to relax for the first time that day. And for almost the first time that day, he thought of Peg and the children, and Long Island seemed very far away.
And when he saw the basket of fruit by the bed, I thought he'd weep.
You called every shot perfectly all day. I don't know how you do it, but don't lose the touch.
I'm a genius.
You know, this is just the beginning with Milt, don't you? That $200,000 is bus fare for his company, but if he likes the ride...
He will. But there isn't a reason in the world why we can't give them better service than Nichols. And better service is going to show up in sales. And Milt understands volume increase better than anyone.
It's a big day for us, Karen.
It's one of the biggest. You were sensational with that research you threw at him. It was a wonderful job.
Somehow my research always sounds more effective when you supply the settings.
Oh.
I don't think you'd have signed the deal in our boardroom, for instance.
It's too impersonal and too hot. Well, actually, I doubt if it was any cooler here today. But the effect was cooler.
The effect was great.
Are you really driving out to Long Island tonight?
Mm-hmm. Want to come along?
No, heavens, no.
Oh, a weekend in the country isn't that bad, and we got a lot of room.
Oh, I know. And I'm grateful. But I'm not the country weekend type. I disintegrate instead of relaxing. Take me all next week to pull the pieces together.
Oh, well, then don't come. I'll need you next week. Only do something diverting between now and Monday, Karen. You've worked too hard too long.
Well, I'll sleep till noon tomorrow. That's all the diversion I'll need. Give Peg my best.
I'll do that. You know, you turned out to be pretty great. I don't know what I'd do without you.
No, it's fun. It's great fun working with you. We make a wonderful team. Good night, boss.
Night, Karen.
The habit was 10 years old. Peg Kerr could not go to sleep until Paul came home. She wasn't a worrier or a window watcher. There was no anxiety in her waiting. She was simply there, to be kissed, to be talked to be whatever Paul needed her to be. It was always Paul for Peg. Paul alone, his home, his children. This was her life. This was what she wanted.
Hello, darling.
Hi, honey. You smell good.
That's the way I played it. Well, you don't look as tired as I expected you to be.
Not too bad. Long day, but a good one.
Oh, that's good. Well, what'll it be? A drink? Soft, hard, in between?
What's in between?
Milk.
Okay, in between. I'm really not thirsty. I'd just like to unwind a little. Ah, you knew before I got here it was going to be an in-between drink, huh?
Mm-hmm. I suspected.
You make the cookies?
Mary Ann. And I wouldn't risk them if I were you.
Oh?
I'm afraid our daughter's a dreadful cook. Eager, but dreadful. I promised her you'd try one.
Well, I don't know. They look so good on the plate. I hate to spoil the arrangement. Well. Oh, by the way, Milt Cronin sent you his best.
Milt's in town?
Mm-hmm. He's been here all week.
Well, Paul, why didn't you tell me?
It was just business, Peg. Ruth wasn't with him. Nothing social about it.
Oh, I know, but I always have Milt out for dinner at least once, whether Ruth's with him or not. Will he be here long?
Mm-mm. He's leaving in the morning.
Oh, that's a shame. And I bet you kept him cooped up in the boardroom all week, having meals sent in if you bothered with food at all.
Now, that is where you are wrong. Peg, yeah, that Karen gets more amazing every... Oh, she sends her best, too.
Oh, how is Karen? It's been months since I've seen her.
Fine, great. And as I said, more amazing every day. Now, you take this deal with Milt. As you say, I would probably have kept him cooped up in the boardroom or my office or his hotel, but not Karen. You know where we've held the meetings this week?
Well, apparently I don't.
In Karen's apartment. Oh, it was inspired, really. It was cool there. We were relaxed, informal. We didn't wear ties ever.
Oh, what a nice idea. Like having Milt in your home.
Only better. Oh, well, what I mean is that Karen saw to it that we worked just so long without a break of some kind. She'd sense an impasse coming, 10 minutes off, and by the time it came, she'd have the right drink at hand or the right food. And first thing you know, there was no impasse at all.
She is amazing, isn't she? Well, then you must have had a successful meeting with Milt.
$200,000 worth.
Wow.
And that's just the beginning. Peg, if we can deliver on this first deal, and Karen's dead sure that we can, that means that next time around, Milt will throw more business our way and more until, well, who knows? The possibilities are endless. We'll have old Nichols mumbling to himself.
Old Nichols?
You know, Willis Nichols, the biggest public relations outfit there is.
Oh.
We've been nicking away at some of his biggest accounts. I'm sorry, darling. I don't know why I bring this stuff home to you.
Well, I'm interested, if that's reason enough.
Sure you are. You're interested, and you don't understand a thing about it, do you, sweetie?
I could. I'd like to, Paul.
There's no need for that. Besides, one woman in my business is enough.
I do feel sorry about Milt, though. I hope he'll understand that I just didn't know he was in town.
He'll understand. To tell you the truth, he probably preferred it just the way it was.
Well, Paul, what...
Oh, no offense, Peg. This was just business. There wasn't any room for small social talk, you know? Yeah, Karen, she handled everything perfectly. Just perfectly. I'm going to bed.
Yes, you'd better. Mary Ann and Tom have big plans for you in the morning.
Not for me, they don't. I am sleeping till noon, and that's an order. Good night, darling.
Mary Ann and Tom Kerr raced their star boat next morning without their father. The gardener went along to keep an eye on them. And the east wing of the house was kept as quiet as possible so Paul could sleep in undisturbed. Before she went shopping, Peg left orders that no calls should be sent to the wing, and none were. But promptly at 9:30, the private line at Paul's bedside rang sharply.
Wake up, boss. It's important.
I thought you were going to sleep till noon.
I couldn't. And you shouldn't have.
Why?
I'd have called you sooner, but I just finished making the arrangements. If you're coming with me, you'll have to pack and be at LaGuardia at 11.
Oh, wait a minute now. What are you talking about?
Do you know why Milt Cronin's leaving today? I'll tell you. He's due back in Chicago tonight for the opening of the Dealers Convention.
So?
Everyone will be there. Kiefer and Johnson from the coast, Edelman from Canada, Gunther and Henshaw from Colorado, Stebbins and Easton from Texas. Are you beginning to read me?
We got holes in our heads if we don't show up out there. That research will mean more to the dealers than it does to Milt.
And Milt will be there to help us sell it. Sooner or later, he's got to get the money from them anyway. This is our first big in with the whole industry.
That's good, Karen. You know what we need. Stop by the office.
I'm calling from the office, and I've talked Milton to waiting an hour and flying out with us.
We can work on the plane and then...
Gate 7 at LaGuardia. We'll meet you there. Hurry, Paul.
Yeah, as soon as I can. Bye.
Darling, I'm so sorry about the call. Paul, what is it? What are you doing?
Chicago, Peg. I need clothes for a week at least. Help me, huh?
Well, sure, but...
I'll tell you all about it in the car, honey. It was Karen on the phone. She's got a big plan for us to do business out there. Did you ever know anyone who works so hard?
No. No, I don't think I ever did.
We'll return to romance and our story, Such a Wonderful Team, in just a moment. You know what the whisperers say. How can she expect romance at her age? Why, she's certainly over 35. Every weekday, through the romance of Helen Trent, CBS Radio tells the story of one woman past the mid-30s who claims the right to romance and reaches out for it. Listen every weekday on most of these stations for The Romance of Helen Trent. And now for the second act of Romance.
Their Chicago success was tremendous, to be matched only by later successes in Houston and San Francisco. Paul and Karen were an electric combination, a devastating 1-2 punch. It was the talk of the industry how well they complemented each other. Paul, the expert in statistical research, Karen, his imaginative interpreter. The magazine article told the story in its title, Such a Wonderful Team.
This is the first real chance I've had to read it. How many copies did you buy, Peg?
I didn't have a chance to buy any. Karen sent some on advance copies.
Well, good for her.
And as soon as the magazine hit the stands, my friends started dropping in with copies to be sure I'd read it.
You like it?
I think it tells part of a story very well.
Part? Oh, honey, this writer practically lived with Karen and me for a month. He didn't leave anything out.
He wouldn't know this part of the story. No one could tell it to him except me, and I wouldn't.
Well, you mean about us, the kids, our home? Well, it isn't that kind of an article, Peg.
No, it isn't. And don't misunderstand me. I wouldn't want that kind of an article.
I guess I am misunderstanding you then.
I want to talk, Paul.
You're upset about the article?
Not about the article. And I'm not just upset. I'm deeply concerned. The article crystallized a few things in my mind, that's all.
I don't want you concerned, Peg. Ever.
I believe that. That's why I think we should talk. Look at things together. See what we think. I'm terribly proud of you, Paul.
I want you to be.
And I'm terribly in love with you.
Peg, honey.
That's the kind of woman I am. The kind who's married to the man she wants, who loves him, has his children, runs his home.
And does it all so well.
Because she wants to. It's not unselfish. I suppose suppose it's quite selfish, really, because it fulfills me. It makes me happy. I need to be loved, Paul.
You know I love you.
Yes, I think I do know that. I need to be married, too.
Well, aren't you?
This isn't much of a marriage anymore, Paul.
Peg!
Don't just react, darling. Think about it. Look at it closely, because I have. I've done nothing else for the last 6 or 8 months.
Well, I've been away a lot, I know, but I've had to be, Peg. The business is like that. It takes time and thought and planning and more time.
And more, and pretty soon it takes all the time.
No, Peg, you don't understand.
I don't. I really don't. Can you make me understand, Paul? I don't think you realize what's happened already. How much of your life you've transplanted. How much of our marriage you've replaced.
Are you talking about Karen?
I guess I am. I can't talk to you about you without talking about Karen.
Peg, I don't know what you think, but if you have any idea there's anything between Karen and me besides the business, you're wrong.
I always said I'd know if you were being unfaithful to me. I think I would know. No, Paul. I'm not talking about that kind of infidelity.
Are there kinds?
I'm being replaced, or perhaps relieved is a better word. When she began doing your entertaining for you, I began to lose some ground that was all mine before.
Peg, it's just that it was easier and, truthfully, more effective for us and a lot less trouble for you.
Yes, that's what I told myself at first. But it's grown, Paul, so gradually, so effortlessly, and I believe this so unintentionally. Until now, I have to ask you, what is our marriage for? What need does it fill for you?
Well, you know all that, honey. You and I will... I don't have any quick answers.
Oh, darling, I don't want a quick answer. I want what I said before, for us to look at it, think about it. I don't want to demand or accuse. I don't want to end up hating Karen and you. I
don't know. I guess I thought we were immune to this sort of thing. I don't know what I thought.
Paul, just look at it as thoughtfully as you can. Take time with it. I have. I don't like my alternatives.
Do you know what they are?
What they seem to be, anyway. My friends have met the problem in different ways. Lisa Chapman's an alcoholic. Ann Warner's taken up younger men. Nora Church traveled.
Now, Peg.
Will you think about it, Paul? Look at it all carefully.
There wasn't any hysteria in what Peg had said. There were no threats. There was simply her deep concern. Paul knew that. And he thought about it, as Peg suggested. But he couldn't just think about it, and he couldn't do it alone. There was Karen. She was important to him, too. He had to know how important.
Why, boss, what a question.
I want to know, Karen. Are you in love with me?
I'd have to think about it. Are you sure you want me to think about it?
Very sure.
You want a drink?
No.
Well, I said it once. It's fun. It's great fun working with you. It's exciting to be so closely attuned to someone. We think alike, and yet we don't.
I wonder, are we always working?
Well, you know we are. I don't have to tell you that. Nothing's happened. Why, nothing's even come close to happening.
But it could. Couldn't it, Karen? I mean, if we keep on seeing as much of each other as we do.
I suppose it could. I suppose there's enough between us now, and hours shared, and interest, and attraction. I suppose it could happen.
But it hasn't. I think I love you.
Paul.
Now, in a way, it must be a kind of love, great appreciation, great warmth. We are very close, Karen.
But not in love.
No. Not in love.
I don't think I've ever thought of you that way. Yet, I'm with you more than I've ever been with anyone. It's entirely painless. I love being with you.
I don't ever remember being tired of you. There's something about this combination of you and me is exhilarating enough and stimulating enough. The time together's passed too easily, Karen.
You know, Peg was right. You should look at it closely. So should I. And I am. For the very first time.
All the time away from her and the children, I haven't missed them. Not really missed them. But if they weren't there, if there was no Peg, no kids, there'd be less of me, Karen. Much, much less. And I wouldn't like that.
Funny, I was just thinking about me. Time with you, well, wasted is the very worst word for it. But even without meaning to, you've come close to filling a void. I've let you take time that wasn't yours.
It's not good. It's not right. I don't know why I couldn't see it before.
You never really looked, Paul. Any more than I did. What are you going to do?
Try like the devil to find the right answer.
Research is your end of the business, boss. When you've found the answer, I'll take it from there.
The first answer was easiest and most obvious. Paul and Peg and the children went abroad for 3 months. No business, no interruptions, no Karen. And they were good months. They were full of family pleasures and rediscoveries. But Paul knew that it wasn't the complete answer. That was still to be searched out back home.
Romance is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald with editorial supervision by Het Mannheim. You have heard Such a Wonderful Team, specially written for romance by Kathleen Height. Starring Harry Bartell as Paul, with Virginia Gregg as Karen, Lillian Baeff as Peg, and Jack Edwards as Milt. The narrator was Lawrence Dobkin. This is Joe Walters inviting you to hear Romance transcribed next week at this same time. Tonight, the 21st Precinct reopens its doors on CBS Radio. A fine, dramatic program spotlighting the work of big city police in and out of the station house. The 21st Precinct stars Everett Sloan as Captain Kennelly. Tonight, hear the story of The Pair, a terrific twosome who caused police no little trouble before their peculiar problems were brought to bay. You'll enjoy The Pair, and you'll enjoy every thrilling moment of the 21st Precinct, returning to most of these stations tonight. Stay tuned now for Gunsmoke, which follows immediately over most of these same stations.